On February 8, 2026, Craig Melvin, 46, shared a perspective on Savannah Guthrie that few could have anticipated. He didn't go on television, release a statement, or post online. Instead, he spoke privately to 4 colleagues who have known Savannah for years. The conversation lasted nearly 2 hours, with no recording devices, capturing raw honesty. Craig described what he has observed in Savannah during the past week, since her mother Nancy's disappearance. What he revealed isn't about television ratings, contracts, or public image. It's about the deep, lifelong connection between Savannah and her mother. That bond has shaped every reaction, every carefully controlled moment, and every decision Savannah makes under immense pressure. According to Craig, the same lessons Nancy taught in childhood about strength, composure, and responsibility are now both Savannah's shield and her source of profound internal struggle. Living under a legacy. Craig described how Savannah's behavior over the last week mirrors the dynamic she has lived with since childhood. Even in moments of intense stress, she maintains control, carefully measuring her words and actions. This discipline, he explains, stems from a mother-daughter relationship defined by love fused with high expectation. Savannah learned early that emotion, vulnerability, and public display of struggle were discouraged. She was rewarded for composure, clarity, and resilience. Craig observed that in the current crisis, Savannah is responding not only as a daughter trying to save her mother, but as a woman whose identity has been built on consistently meeting her mother's standards. Every decision she makes, every carefully delivered statement, is informed by lessons she internalized decades ago, lessons that prepared her for public challenges, but now heighten the personal toll of this emergency. A life shaped by expectation. Craig shared specific stories that illustrate this lifelong pattern. When Savannah was 22 and had the opportunity to take her first journalism job, her mother encouraged her to pursue law school instead, seeing it as a higher calling. Savannah didn't interpret this as criticism. She understood it as her mother's belief in her potential and her insistence that she strive for excellence. Craig explained that while this guidance propelled Savannah into a highly successful career, it also instilled a subtle but persistent fear of falling short. Even now, in the midst of a crisis that would overwhelm most, Savannah operates under the same internalized standard. She must remain strong, decisive, and composed. According to Craig, this conditioning has helped her navigate public scrutiny, but has also made her reluctant to acknowledge fear or vulnerability, even when her mother's life hangs in the balance. The weight of silence. Craig emphasized that Savannah's public composure is inseparable from the lessons she learned from Nancy. The videos Savannah released regarding her mother's disappearance, he said, were calculated and precise, not inhuman, but a reflection of lifelong training. She begins by expressing gratitude, then describing the situation, before addressing the captor, a sequence that demonstrates clarity under pressure. Craig observed that her restraint is deliberate, a manifestation of a lifetime of careful self-discipline. Savannah is acting in the only way she has ever been taught is acceptable, by showing strength, control, and calm. Even as she negotiates, plans, and communicates with authorities, she is simultaneously performing the role she learned in her mother's home: composed, capable, and unflappable, even while experiencing profound fear and grief internally. A daughter's invisible struggle. Craig described the psychological toll this dynamic takes. Savannah is not only managing the immediate crisis, but also contending with decades of ingrained belief that love must be earned through strength and competence. Each moment she holds herself steady is a reflection of this internalized code. According to Craig, Savannah fears that any lapse in control might signal failure to the one person whose opinion has always mattered most. This fear intensifies the pressure of the ongoing emergency, amplifying every decision and every calculated gesture she makes. In his view, Savannah's composure is not indifference. It is a carefully cultivated survival strategy, a testament to her resilience, and simultaneously a profound emotional burden. Understanding this context offers insight into why she has acted with such deliberate control, even amid an unimaginable personal crisis. Parenting as correction. Craig noted that Savannah approaches parenting her own children differently than she was raised. She allows them to express emotions freely, to make mistakes, and to fail without fear that love will be withdrawn. This contrast, Craig observed, is deliberate, a conscious effort to break the pattern she experienced herself. Savannah's nurturing approach demonstrates her awareness of the long-term impact of conditional love and her determination to give her children the permission she never received. Even amid the current crisis, this effort continues, though it is shadowed by the absence of her own mother. Craig framed this as a striking example of how past experiences shape present behavior, showing both the strength and the cost of attempting to reconcile inherited lessons with conscious change. The invisible code. Craig described a recurring theme in Savannah's life, the belief that she must continually earn approval. Even small successes are framed by the need to meet expectations. This code is evident in her public demeanor during the current crisis. Measured words, unwavering composure, and methodical action, all while privately confronting fear and grief. Craig emphasized that Savannah's adherence to this code is not vanity or pride. It is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. Her unflappable exterior masks the complexity of internal struggle, a balancing act between professional responsibility, maternal instinct, and lifelong patterns of behavior learned from Nancy. This lens explains actions that might otherwise seem extraordinary, demonstrating that her resilience is both remarkable and intimately human. Crisis management through learned discipline. Craig highlighted that Savannah's approach to the current emergency is informed by years of preparation under her mother's guidance. From early childhood through adulthood, she was taught to structure her responses, prioritize clarity, and maintain composure. In practice, this means her statements, decisions, and negotiations are deliberate, strategic, and restrained. Even when responding to life-threatening circumstances, she applies the same principles instilled in her over decades. Craig's observation underscores how deeply her upbringing shapes her responses. The training that built her career as a respected journalist also dictates how she navigates personal crises. While effective for problem-solving, this discipline also amplifies the emotional strain, leaving little room for spontaneous vulnerability. Strength and vulnerability. Intertwined throughout the conversation, Craig conveyed that Savannah's strength and vulnerability are inseparable. The same lessons that have allowed her to maintain professional composure under extreme pressure also prevent her from openly acknowledging personal fear or despair. Her actions reflect a lifetime of learned behavior, a combination of love, expectation, and self-imposed standards. Craig pointed out that this pattern has been both empowering and isolating. Savannah is capable of extraordinary clarity and calm, yet she bears the burden of private struggle largely alone. Recognizing this dynamic allows observers to see beyond the public facade and understand the complexity of a woman balancing professional responsibility, familial loyalty, and deep personal anxiety in real time. The Long Shadow of Love. Craig concluded with an observation about the lasting influence of Nancy's guidance. Savannah's loyalty, determination, and composure are rooted in love, yet that love has always been intertwined with expectation. Craig stressed that while this dynamic has made Savannah an extraordinary professional and caregiver, it also leaves her vulnerable to profound self-criticism. Every decision she makes during her mother's disappearance is influenced by this invisible standard, shaping both her public actions and private fears. Craig urged those witnessing the unfolding events to understand this context, not as sensationalized speculation, but as a deeply human insight into a daughter shaped by decades of care, guidance, and high expectation. Recognizing this allows empathy, not judgment, for her extraordinary composure amid unimaginable personal stress, seeing Savannah fully human. Ultimately, Craig's reflection is a reminder that Savannah Guthrie's strength is both remarkable and costly. She is performing in the only way she has ever been taught, with clarity, composure, and determination, even under extreme personal stress. Behind the anchor's professional exterior is a woman managing decades of ingrained expectations, profound worry, and the urgent responsibility to protect and save her mother. Craig's insight offers a lens of understanding. Every carefully measured word, every controlled action, is rooted in a lifetime of internalized lessons about love, performance, and resilience. It is a call to see her fully, not just as a public figure or mother, but as a human being grappling with fear, responsibility, and the enduring weight of familial expectation while navigating one of the most challenging moments of her life. The urgency of compassion. Craig's message is ultimately about awareness and compassion. As the search for Nancy continues, Savannah's extraordinary composure is a reflection of both her training and her love. Observers are encouraged to recognize that behind every measured statement is a woman carrying profound worry and responsibility. Craig highlighted that understanding this dynamic allows us to offer support in the form of patience, empathy, and quiet acknowledgement. The public may never see the full extent of her struggle, but by contextualizing her behavior, we can appreciate both the power and the vulnerability inherent in her responses. Savannah's actions are not calculated for headlines. They are the product of a lifetime of guidance, love, and the extraordinary weight of responsibility borne silently and persistently.